Hello, aspirants, and welcome to your introduction to the 4th Legion, once known affectionately as the Corpse Grinders, and now more commonly known as the Iron Warriors. A legion of dogged determination, martial ferocity in the face of an unrelenting foe, and specifically utilised for siege warfare against some of the most stalwart and hard to crack enemy fortifications ever faced by the legions. The numbers of the Iron Warriors know no equals in this endeavour. Some would consider the Legion to be one of a workhorse, unyielding in the face of overwhelming odds, favouring heavy firepower and greater than average acceptance of bionics after mortal injury. Those of such a legion are hardened fighters, unwilling to give up, even if their bodies scream for it. They are hard to stop, and even harder to kill, for where there is one Iron Warrior, there are many. Finding their origin atop the wreckage of the Terran Auto Plateau of Sek Amrak, the Gun tribes that made up the inhabitants of that fortress and area made up the bulk of the first contingent of Astartes warriors for the 4th Legion. As a cohesive army, they quickly proved themselves in those first Terran campaigns, serving directly under the Emperor, and made their home one of the most stalwart bastions of the legions on Terra. As with the 10th Legion, the Iron Warriors have a propensity for cybernetic grafting, allowing for once considered mortally wounded warriors to return to the fight rather than be gifted the Emperor's peace. Therefore, it seems fitting that the moniker of the Legion holds sway. From iron cometh strength. Serving with distinction under some of the most gruelling trial actions to cleanse Terra and its neighbouring planets of abhorrent Xenos, renegade human outposts, and much, much worse, the Legion won many honours in those early days. Most notable was the Maya Yacht campaign on the poisonous world of Venus. Their brutalistic style of warfare, that some would later consider to be unimaginative, would prove useful in this campaign. Success does not come without tragedy, however. Their style of war favours heavy artillery bombardments and armoured spearhead assaults. In the campaign to take the forge world of Enkaladion, they lost nearly 29,000 legionaries. It almost obliterated one of their first expeditionary fleets to leave Terra at the start of the Great Crusade. Brutal and uncompromising, with limited desire for tactical change, it would require a seismic shift amongst the Legion to change their self-destructive methods of war. Fortunately, one was to arrive. A legendary military leader. The 4th Legion would soon have one other to add to their ranks. Their primarch, Perturabo, the Hammer of Olympia. Perturabo, the primarch of the 4th Legion, has a well-documented history. A mind of cold logic and calculation, with a hidden affinity for artifice and eye for martial design. Perturabo was found on the planet of Olympia. Mountainous terrain that split the world into warring city-states. The world and its terrain encouraged the formation of fortresses and the control of the limited mountainous passes. The Primarch soon showed his mettle and virtue for engineering and siegecraft, earning the moniker of the Hammer of Olympia, a warlord in service to his adopted parent, the Tyrant of Lokos, the Emperor, beloved by all, saw this man for who he truly was, one of his lost sons. I will tell you now his introduction to Legion was not seamless or full of fanfare. After careful evaluation of the Legion battle record, he deemed his sons to be wanting and ordered the immediate decimation of 1/4 of the legionaries under his command. Those selected to be decimated were beaten to death by the rest. The primarch used such terrible summary executions to be a reminder for the Legion, to remind them of their purpose, and more importantly, what loss would mean. Such a punishment therefore has not been required since, and although facing against some of the terrifying specimens of galactic foulness an unforgiving universe could throw at them, the 4th Legion continues to advance the Great Crusade. There is an art to a siege, much that the 4th Legion has espoused throughout their service. Brutal and gruelling, many would look for alternative ways to clear a foe from a stronghold. Sometimes, however, a nail simply needs a hammer to beat it down. The 4th Legion are that hammer. To be one with the Iron Warriors, you must be willing to accept long periods of tedium, followed by intense firefights and brutal hand-to-hand combat. Such martial action may be seen as barbaric and cruel, but such actions must be considered. Those defenders doggedly holding out behind the indomitable walls of ceramite and adamantium. Nothing is beyond mortal comprehension when dealing with a siege. Sometimes it requires a siege master. The role of siege master is one that an Iron Warrior would hold with pride. To begin your training with the Legion, you must first show your propensity for technology. Martial skill and affinity for cold logic are not just required, they are actively encouraged. Twinned with training amongst the artisan masters of the Mechanicum, such training bolstered already considerable martial mastery and knowledge of siege weapons and heavy artillery. This knowledge would rival even those held by the followers of the Ordo Reductor. Perhaps in your service you may show your martial prowess and impress your superiors enough to be given command of a grand battalion. In such a role, thousands of your brethren will be under your direct command. Dominators, now referred to as Taranthikos, make up the veteran cadres of your grand companies under your banner. Line companies and armoured sentries form the bulk of your forces. Sometimes a grand battalion may only be 500 strong. However, sometimes a grand battalion can be as large as several thousand Astartes. Such fluctuations in manpower are explained by the attrition rate of your legion. There is no room for empathy, no room for error. Only victory counts. Failure is not an option. Your primarch will accept nothing less. Under your orders, warsmiths or captains make up the rest of your command structure. Warlords in their own right, they follow your direction, but are also expected to consider novel approaches to breach an indomitable citadel or stubbornly defended bastion. Even if command is not for you, you must show little compassion for the enemy. To be a truly effective Iron Warrior, such emotions must be hammered out of you. Only dominance and the iron will to succeed will ever be acceptable. It is a hard legion to serve, but such is the need to reunite humanity under the Emperor's banner. So, given all that you know now, do you have the martial mindset and single-minded determination to succeed under the iron grip of your warsmiths and primarch? Does your affinity for technology rival that of the mechanicum? Do you yearn to bring the Emperor's judgment to a world doggedly refusing compliance, and have no qualm in the slow grind of an ongoing siege? If so, maybe you should consider a life of service and join the Iron Warriors.